Everybody has their own destiny. You don't have to compare me to my father all the time.
Sure.
I never saw myself being able to do anything else other than be an actor. When an audience accepts, they just accept you for who you are. You know, I don't think that's got anything to do with who your father is or who your mother is or who your uncle is.
Was that an apprehension that you ever had before entering films?
Which
The
is?
fact that, you're Vinod Khanna's son, and we've all loved him over years, and you will be compared whether you like it or not?
I don't remember thinking about it a lot. I don't remember having those fears or those thoughts, no. And I'm not saying it in an arrogant way.
Right.
I'm just saying it never happened to me. I was never fearful of that. It's not something I dwelled upon at all.
But did you see that happening though, once you did join films?
No.
It did. They took you for who you were.
I think so. But I think it happens to most young actors, whether they come from film families or they come from, from outside the industry. I think when an audience accepts, they just accept you for who you are. I don't think that connection, I think that connection is overrated.
Okay.
Even from an audience point of view. I mean, they'll have that connection in their mind, but I don't think they're accepting you as a face, like an accepted face. Like, okay, we'll watch this guy. I don't think that's got anything to do with who your father is or who your mother is or who your uncle is.
But there's a full movie industry that sort of would want you to say be the action hero because Vinod Khanna was. Was that something that that somebody would keep in mind, offering you a part, for instance, a producer perhaps?
I don't know, because I've been offered very few action films. I always tell my producers even now that I'd love to do more action stuff. Yeah. I've really done very, very little action in my career. And I've always, but that's just one or two in a long period of time.
Right.
And I don't know. I've always felt that I have the physicality to be able to do a good action movie. It's one of the genres that has kind of eluded me for a long time. I don't know why.
But you've actively sought it.
Well, I'm not a writer. I don't write my own films, so I've encouraged or I've asked my directors and producers to think about it for me, in the future. Write something for
You
me.
have?
Yeah, I have.
Right,
of course, all the time.
Right.
It's never really come about as yet. I'm sure it'll happen in the future.
Right. A lot of people we speak to in the films, they always make it seem like what they're doing now was an accident. That's not something they always thought of. You're the only person I've come across who says that when you were a teenager, you knew you wanted to be a movie star.
Oh, much before then.
Much before teenage.
Yeah. Always. I always knew that this is what I wanted to do. But more than what I wanted to do, it was more of what I could do. I never saw myself being able to do anything else other than be an actor.
And where did you find that out from? Being on stage perhaps in school when you did plays and stuff, or?
I think it was more observing my father because I spent a lot of time with him as a kid, going to work with him.
You'd go on sets?
Yeah, a lot. I think that influenced me a lot. I did a little bit of stuff on stage in school, amateur stuff. And I'm not a fan of stage. I don't like it. I have stage fright, and I had it even then. Somehow I always felt that this was the right fit for me.
Is that something that, those who've grown up, kids who've grown up with films being around, who've actually been to sets, is that a very natural advantage that someone would have? Because the first time you face the camera, you've actually been in that environment for far too long. Like this whole, this whole nepotism argument that came along. But I don't think it's a natural advantage, right?
I don't think anything can prepare you for facing the camera for the first time. But I do agree with you that you do get, it's like coming to an office.
Right.
Like sometimes coming to a corporate environment can be kind of intimidating for me. Or for someone who's not used to that environment. So it's just a different environment that as human beings we get used to, I guess. I don't know, further than that, does it have any other advantages? I'm not sure.
But as an actor, since you were sure that that's what you're going to be in the movies, was it the same with your brother, by the way?
I don't know, you'd have to ask him.
You never asked him? Like you guys have grown up together, you would know what his...
I haven't asked him that specific question, no. I haven't asked him that specific question, but it would probably be similar. I don't know, but I can't answer for him.
I'll tell you why, because we got to know him as the face of MTV. When MTV just reached India. India was opening up, and he was that first face in that sense of what we saw as Western entertainment or music videos. We'd never seen music videos before that in any case, which is a very different kind of beginning for a person to be in show business than yours, which was like a hardcore Himalaya Putra, the
Yeah,
picture that
it
should
was.
follow box office,
It
that kind of
was.
situation.
Yeah, but the entertainment industry is a funny industry in terms of you can start off as something and end up doing something totally different within the same industry.
Right.
Like there's so many people who wanted to be directors, ended up being actors, or
Right.
other things. Have wanted to be actors, but then have found, say, maybe a love for cinematography or for editing or for sound design. I don't know.
Or direction.
Or direction.
Right.
Or so it is that kind of a field. It is that kind of a place where you want to be in that environment, but you don't know exactly what you want to do.
Right.
So you find your place eventually.
But you were very clear. It's
I
going to be
was.
the leading man, the Bollywood hero.
I was. It's unusual for me to be clear about anything, but I've been clear about that for a very long time.
Right.
Yeah.
And how did you go about it?
Go about what?
Go about like making sure that first film would be that big film. Like, you enrolled in acting classes, or did you like sort of train yourself in a certain
I
way?
think the first hurdle to cross was telling your parents what you wanted to do. And I think once I did that, then it was kind of out of my hands, because if Dad said he wanted to make a film for me, and then it's just out of your hands. So to
But did
speak.
you have an idea in terms of how it should be, your first film? At all? So long as you get the job, so long as you play a character, so long as you're the lead, so long as it's a big film.
I've always been very naive in life, and I still am very naive. So I'm not able to plan things or to. No, it's not something that I was able to do then, and I don't think I'm able to do it
Even
now.
now?
No, I just go with the flow.
But would you not like say maybe train yourself to pick up better scripts, or I know that you went to a training school, like an acting school, Kishore Namat Kapoor. You did join the school,
I did,
yes.
yeah, I did.
So there's something you were learning there.
For me, I think acting school was more just about opening up a little bit, being able to perform while 10, 15 other students are watching you or stuff like that, but nothing more than that.
Because you wanted to be a movie star and you knew.
I didn't say I wanted to be a movie star, I wanted to be an actor.
Big difference?
I've never seen myself as a movie star.
Okay.
I don't think of myself as one.
Really?
No. That's like saying I really wanted to be successful. If you're a successful actor, then you're a movie star.
Right.
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 If you're not a successful actor, then you're.
It's a deeply hierarchical world too. I mean,
Yeah. So I can't. But honestly, you're asking me questions about what I thought a long time ago.
Yeah.
It's impossible for me to remember those
Impossible?
things. Impossible.
Like, you wouldn't have like the first memory of a movie you watch and say, hey man, it'd be amazing to be this guy. I mean, we all have our first memories of things that we hold very dear, and movies being that for you.
I do, but unfortunately, as I told you before, I said my memory is so it's almost scary how bad my memory is. It's really scary. I can't remember things. So anything about the past which you asked me.
So, like, poor short-term memory or poor long-term memory?
Both.
Okay.
Both. Just memory in general, very bad.
So if we didn't show you this interview, you wouldn't remember if it happened.
Well, if you ask me 2 years from now what I spoke to you about in this interview, I wouldn't remember.
But you'd be consistent about it. I mean, it would be what you thought anyway, regardless of whether you remember.
I guess. I would imagine, because it's the same person.
Right.
It's just my memory, it doesn't serve me well, like ever since I was a child.
Okay, so you would meet people, and there are people you went to school with, college with, school.
Even now.
Even now. So somebody you met, and then the same person comes up and says hi, and it's like,
I would have no clue.
I
would have no clue who that is.
Exactly.
No clue. It's very embarrassing. It's very bad. But that's just the way it is. I have to deal with it. I just being apologetic to people all the time.
But you genuinely will not remember the first day.
I'm not faking it.
No, of course not.
Yeah.
I'm saying, like, but would you overcome that for something as big as your first film? For instance, you'll remember that.
Yeah, of course.
You'll remember your first film.
Yeah, but if you ask me, do you remember this particular thing or that I won't remember.
I'll tell you, like, your first film was a very big deal for me personally, purely because it came out in 1997. 98 is when I went to college, which is St. Stephen's in Delhi. And Himalaya Putra is the first film to be shot in that college. And
oh, really?
Yes. And you have a song called Bachelor.
Yeah.
Which is how the movie starts. I mean, your introduction happens with that song.
Correct.
It's entirely shot in that college.
Right.
Do you remember that college at all?
No.
Thank you very much. I knew that was going to be the answer.
I don't. I remember shooting other parts of the song which were on a set, and so I remember stuff like that, but I don't remember Delhi.
Okay.
But maybe if I see the song on screen
Of
or something,
course.
I'll remember it. But if you ask me without seeing it, then I won't remember.
Subscribe to Midday India. Get direct notifications on all our videos by clicking on the bell icon.